Hey there, movie fans. Well, Halloween is just around the corner, and having recently rewatched the Halloween franchise, I thought it would be a good idea to do a video of my personal top 10 of the Halloween movies. Many other YouTubers has done this before, so why not do one myself? And it wasn't really a difficult thing to do to make a top 10. I thought it would be difficult, but it wasn't. Although I had to think about some of the movies, where to put them. But I am happy with the result, which of course does not mean that you might be happy with the result. So please keep in mind that this is my own personal top 10, and these will be my opinions to these movies. You may agree, you may not agree, that's all fine by me. And also keep in mind that there will be some spoilers, so if you haven't seen the Halloween movies, go check them out first and then come back and watch this video. That is, if you want to. But I'm pretty sure that most of you have seen these movies. But anyway, let's start the top 10. And at number 10, and this is a no-brainer, no doubt, is Halloween Resurrection. And yes, I have seen the movie. You might know I did a video not so long ago, a couple of weeks ago actually, where I asked you if I should watch this movie again or not. And you could vote thumbs up for yes and thumbs down for no, and the majority of you has voted thumbs up, so thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. But I have seen it. I could have pretended to have seen it, but that would have been a little childish of me. But I have seen it, and I only want to say two things about it. Never again. At number 9 is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, Part 6 of the franchise. Now, I saw the theatrical version, and then the next day I saw the producer's cut, and according to many, the producer's cut is the best version. Personally, I would prefer the theatrical version. However, I do have to say that I find both versions absolutely terrible. And my main problem is the whole cult thing. I mean, the idea of Michael Myers being a member of this cult, well, not exactly a member, but he's being held by this cult. He's protected by this cult, and I find that absolutely ridiculous. And the idea of him being possessed by some Asian evil force or whatever it is, I did not like that at all. I mean, I think it would have been much more interesting if we did not know why Michael Myers is what he is, why he is so evil, you know what I mean? And it would have made him more mysterious that way as well. But no, I did not like both versions, and there's a scene near the end of the producer's cut where the cult members has gathered together. They're doing some rituals or whatever, and there's a woman lying on the table who's about to be sacrificed, and Michael Myers is just standing there. He's among the cult members, and he just stands there, and I could not help but to laugh at it. I mean, the real Michael Myers would have killed everybody, worshippers, he would have killed them all. He would not give a shit. He would have killed them all. But instead, he just stood there and did nothing, and I thought it was just ridiculous. And besides that, this movie is full of annoying characters. The most annoying one was the radio DJ. And it's quite a shame that this is Donald Pleasance's final film. He died during the making of this film, and he deserved better, absolutely. So, yeah. Halloween 6 at number 9 of my top 10. And at number 8 is Halloween 5. Now, I was so disappointed with this movie, especially after the brilliant ending of Part 4. I thought this movie wasn't really necessary. They could have ended with part 4, if I may be honest, but I'll talk about that later. But if they had to do part 5, actually they already did part 5, but I have this idea of what Halloween 5 should have been like. I mean, Jamie is now the killer, right? You know, she's the next Michael Myers. She has taken over her uncle's evil rage, so she's now the killer. And she's being treated by Loomis in this, facility, but she managed to escape. And then somewhere in the middle of the movie, Michael Myers pops up because you cannot really kill Michael Myers. And instead of killing Jamie, he teams up with her, and they both start this killing spree. I mean, that's not a bad idea, is it? I don't want to sound arrogant, but I find my idea much better than this entire movie. But anyway, Halloween 5 at number 8. At number 7 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, I am pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. You might not like me anymore, you might even hate me. You might want to unsubscribe my channel and thumb this video down. And you might even say that I've completely lost it and that I need to get my head examined. And you're probably right too. But I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to tell you what I think of this movie. And that is that I kind of like this movie. Now here's the thing. I was not looking forward rewatching this movie. Same thing with the Resurrection. I was not looking forward rewatching that either. But after I rewatched Halloween 2, I had to admit to myself, this isn't as bad as the first time that I saw it. I mean, some of the things that bothered me before did not bother me anymore. Like, for example, Michael Myers without his mask on, or Dr. Loomis for being a arrogant prick, or Sherry Moon Zombie as a ghost. I first thought that was just a weak excuse of bringing her back. But now I have no problems with those things anymore, for some strange reason. Now, it's not like that I find this a great movie all of a sudden, or that I understand what Rob Zombie was trying to do, because I don't. And I am perfectly aware that this is like the most hated Halloween movie ever made, which I don't really understand. I mean, how can you hate this movie more than Resurrection? But anyway, each to his own, I guess. But, I just accept it for what it is now, and I really think that this movie might end up being the most underrated Halloween movie in the franchise. And I would even go so far to say that the more I watch this movie, the better it gets. Now, I could be completely wrong about that, of course. I mean, let's just say that a year from now, I watch this movie again and I don't like it. It's possible. Or I might like it even more. You never know, right? I mean, that's what's so great about certain movies. Well, actually movies in general, really. You don't like it the first time you see it, but the second time you reconsider your opinion. We all have that sometimes, and that is what I have now with Halloween 2. And who knows, it might even go higher on my list. But for now, it's at number 7. At number 6 is Halloween H2O, the only Halloween I have seen on the big screen. Now, I was slightly disappointed by this one because I expected more from it. It's it marks the return of Laurie Strode, which is great, by the way. It's great to have Jamie Lee Curtis back again. But yeah, I expected more from it, and having seen this movie for the third or fourth time now, my opinion hasn't really changed that much. And I also think that it reminded me too much of the Scream movies. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like the Scream movies. But in the late 1990s, most of the slasher movies that came out were very much influenced by Scream, and H2O is no exception. And it's not really surprising that this movie reminded me of Scream because Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream 1, 2, and 4, I believe, also worked on this movie, even though he never got the credits for it. But I think that H2O should have, gotten its own identity. It deserved to have its own identity, if you know what I mean. But despite that, it's a pretty good and enjoyable sequel, really. And I like the Psycho references in this one. Uh, for example, Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee's real mother. She had a wonderful cameo in this film. And she was, of course, the star of Psycho. And her car was the same type of car that she drove in Psycho. And, I really like the Psycho references there. And yeah, it's a pretty good sequel, and it is at my number 6. At number 5 is the original version of Halloween 2. Now, the reason why this movie is so low on my list is, well, basically because it isn't as good as the ones that are higher on my list. I also have to say that Rick Rosenthal, who directed this film, and he also directed Resurrection, believe it or not. I will never forgive him for that, by the way. But he does not have the same talent as John Carpenter has. I mean, Halloween 2 doesn't have the tension and the creepiness that the original version did had. But it is a pretty good film. So number 5, Halloween 2. At number 4 is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Now you probably think, why did I choose this one over Halloween 2? Well, it's simple reason that I enjoyed this movie more than Halloween 2. I have to be honest here. And I used to hate this movie a lot. But ever since I found out what John Carpenter wanted to do, I started to appreciate this movie more. Carpenter, by the way, wanted to turn the Halloween franchise into an anthology. He wanted to release a Halloween movie each year, and each one would be different than the other. And that would have been a fantastic idea if you ask me. But the fans, of course, wanted Michael Myers back, which is understandable. But yeah, I like it. I like it for what it is. It's some sort of a rip-off to the Stepford Wives. And I'm talking about the one from the 1970s, not the shitty Nicole Kidman remake. And it's also some sort of rip-off to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And but no, I like it. I like the ending as well. It had a great ending, and it's actually funny. There is a scene where Tom Atkins is sitting at a bar and he's watching TV, and on TV it shows a clip of the first Halloween movie, which indicates that this movie does not take place in the same world as the other movies. Which is kind of strange if you think about it, right? I mean, it's part of the same franchise, but it's not part of the same world, It doesn't take place in the same Michael Myers world, and I always thought that was the case, but it isn't. But anyway, this is my number 4, the bastard child of the franchise. At number 3 is Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. Yes, I know, it's blasphemy, it's sacrilege, how dare I put this movie so high on my list, but, I cannot help it. What can I say? I guess I am a Rob Zombie whore. I like the guy, I like him as a filmmaker, I like his style, I like his movies, and I really like what he has done with his own version. I think he did an incredible job with it, and it's really a horror movie that was made by horror fans and that was made for horror fans. I mean, if you look at the actors that are in here, especially the ones who had small appearances in this film, like Richard Lintz, Udo Kier, Sid Haig, Ken Foree, all those recognizable cult figures and horror actors that we all grew up with and that we all loved. It's just great to see all of them in one movie. You know what I mean? And let's face it, this movie is a masterpiece compared to the remakes of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Not that I particularly hate the Friday and Nightmare remakes, but they're dog shit compared to this one. You have to agree with me on that, right? But anyway, it's just a really great remake, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and it is at my number 3. Number 2, my second favorite Halloween movie, and that is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now it starts off okay, but as it progresses, it becomes better, and it results into this, like I said earlier, brilliant ending. I like to consider this as a trilogy. You have 1, 2, and then 4. I know that 1, 2, and 7 is being considered as a trilogy, but in my opinion, 1, 2, and 4 is a much better trilogy with the perfect beginning and the perfect ending. The beginning, of course, being young Michael Myers dressed as a clown, killing his sister. The ending being Jamie, Michael's niece, dressed as a clown, killing her foster mother. And that's just a fantastic ending. Everybody's freaking out. Dr. Loomis is freaking out. Everybody's just shocked. And you see this, that final shot of Jamie holding that bloody knife, and then fade to black, the end. That's it. Now, I mean, just imagine if they did not make any Halloween movies after that, except for the Rob Zombie ones, of course. But just imagine if that would have been the ending of the original Halloween franchise. What an ending that would have been. I mean, you should try it. Try to watch 1, 2, and 4, and you might know what I mean. But anyway, I thought this was a fantastic sequel, Part 4, The Return of Michael Myers, at number 2. And then at number 1, and you all saw this coming, it is John Carpenter's original film, Halloween. And what can I say about this one? This is the Halloween that I have seen most of the times, really, and it does not bore me. No matter how many times I see it, no matter how many times I know what's happening next, it cannot bore me for some reason, and it's just a timeless classic, really. Easily one of the best horror films of all time. Period. That's it. And it deserves to be on, well, not only on my number 1 spot, but it deserves to be on everyone's number 1 spot. I cannot imagine a Halloween top 10 and Halloween, the original one is not at the number 1 spot. I just cannot imagine that. How can you not put that at the first place? But anyway, that is my number 1, and very deservedly so. And that was my top 10. They are going to do a new Halloween movie, which apparently will come out next year, and it will be called Halloween Returns. Now, I don't know if that is the official title or if that is a working title. Not very sure about that. But it will be shot in 3D, and it will be directed by a guy named Patrick Lussier. I'm not really sure if I pronounce his name right, though. But he is also the director of Drive Angry, White Noise 2, Dracula 2000, and its sequels. So that doesn't really sound very promising, doesn't it? I'd rather wish they brought back Rob Zombie. But, well, we'll see. It might end up being a good Halloween movie after all. You never know. We'll see about that. But anyway, that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish each and every one of you a great and happy Halloween. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.